So I ended up, moving here. There wasn't actually a concrete plan at all. So yun nga, kasi nga I came here on a tourist visa. Sabi nung iba kong friends na nakilala na rin dito na mag-cap nga daw ako. Ang naging problema lang kasi is yung experience. So nung pag nire-review mo kasi nursing council, makikita mo yung mga requirements. So isa na dun yung length of experience mo as a nurse. Hindi talaga siya pasok kahit anong gawin ko, hindi talaga kakayanin. So sabi ko noon, ayoko namang masayang yung nursing degree ko kasi pinag-aralan ko din yun. So marami akong ni-review, marami akong nakitang option which is yun nga, we can take nursing, healthcare management level 7. So nung yun nga, marami rin akong kilala ng mga nurses din na yun yung tinake nilang diploma course.
Kia ora, my name is Binibining Veronica. I am a registered nurse from the Philippines, and on this channel, I talk about nursing and life in New Zealand. So if you're new here, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. Salamat po! On this episode of Biyaheng New Zealand, I'll talk to Lawrence Laus about his pathway to New Zealand.
My name is Lawrence Laus. My friend used to call me Shen. So kung yung iba manonood, yun yung pagkakilala nila sa akin. I moved here in New Zealand back in 2014. So it's my 6th year. And I used to live in Auckland, but I moved in Hamilton now. So I still work in a healthcare facility. Yeah, so much larger lang yung scope. Yeah.
Why did you choose to move to New Zealand?
I had a lot of options naman talaga. So first was in the US and then Canada and then New Zealand. So the good thing was I have a friend who lives here. We've been talking for quite a while and then yun nga sinasabi niya sa akin how's New Zealand, kung ano yung mga opportunities, ganyan. And then medyo mas madali yung process nun. So I ended up, moving here. There wasn't actually a concrete plan at all. So yun nga, kasi nga I came here on a tourist visa. So ayun. So hindi siya plano talaga. But yun nga, nag-decide ako na New Zealand kasi nga siya yung parang feeling ko that time mas mabilis akong makakaalis from the Philippines. So yun.
Why did you not apply for a New Zealand nurse license?
So I took nursing din sa Philippines. So that was batch 2008. Kasi pagdating ko dito, ang main goal ko din kasi is yung makahanap ng job. Kasi yun nga, parang sabi sa akin, pwede naman kung naka-tourist visa ka and kung may magsusupport naman sa yung employer, why not? So they can process your visa naman along the way. And nung time na yun, medyo nahirapan ako kasi nga yung sa visa ko, parang kailangan nila ng qualification, kailangan nila ng experience. So sabi nung iba kong friends na nakilala na rin dito na mag-cap nga daw ako. Ang naging problema lang kasi is yung experience. So nung pag nire-review mo kasi nursing council, makikita mo yung mga requirements. So isa na dun yung length of experience mo as a nurse. Hindi talaga siya pasok kahit anong gawin ko, hindi talaga kakayanin. So sabi ko noon, ayoko namang masayang yung nursing degree ko kasi pinag-aralan ko din yun. So marami akong ni-review, marami akong nakitang option which is yun nga, we can take nursing, healthcare management level 7. So nung yun nga, marami rin akong kilala ng mga nurses din na yun yung tinake nilang diploma course. And then yun nga, at the same time magagamit ko pa rin yung nursing degree ko in a managerial or in a non-clinical side naman of healthcare. So yun yung reason is yun nga, yung requirements hindi lang talaga siya tumugma. So ayoko namang i-push or gumawa ng something na, di ba, hindi maganda. So yun yung reason. Kaya ang pathway ko nun is student visa, and I took healthcare management level 7 for a year.
Did you process your visa through an immigration consultancy or agency?
Ako lahat yun.
Alright.
Kasi that
Pwede
time,
ka
wala akong
contact, send immigration. Pwede ka
Yes.
kontakin.
Oo, lahat ata ng visa na daanan ko na. So, kung meron po kayo mga tanong, na-joke lang. So yun, hindi ako nag-agency at all. Self-process. Para sa akin kasi mas madali. Though, I mean, I'm not discouraging naman na people to, not hindi mag-agency kasi it's may preference naman ng bawat isa. But for me kasi that time, sabi ko, aside from it's a waste of money, kasi nga wala akong enough fund that time. So sabi ko, kung kaya ko namang ma-review, punta lang ako immigration website, mag-asa ko ng mga questions, mga tao nagpunta na rin dito ng hindi nag-agency. So kinompile ko lang lahat ng informations. And then yun, so ako yung nag-process. Yun yung sa tourist visa. And then nung dumating na ako dito, since onshore na siya, mas naging madali yung paghahanap ko ng school kasi I can walk in. Alam mo yun, talaga ng harapan, hey, I mean, how's the process? Paano po ba mag-apply ng student visa? So ayun, hindi ako nag-agency, it was a self-process. So naging successful naman siya, smooth naman yung naging process.
Nice. And then, gaano katagal bago mo na-receive yung student visa mo? Was it just in time before enrollment? Or naka-enroll ka na and then saka ka nag-apply ng student visa?
Kasi that time, sobrang na talaga, ang gulo-gulo na dahil mapapaso na yung work visa ko, yung visitor visa ko, 10 days na lang yung natitira. So ang sabi ko, parang ayoko munang umuwi kasi 2 months akong naka-visitor visa. Sabi ko, andito na kasi ako so I have to do something. Sabi ko, kailangan ko talagang mag-extend or kailangan ko ngang makapag-enroll. So, thank God, yung process ng aking ng student visa only took like a week. Siguro mga 5 days. 5 days. Yung pagpapadala ko lahat ng papers ko from the Philippines, yung TOR and all. Kasi hindi ko naman siya dala, hindi ko naman alam na mag-aaral ako dito. So lahat kailangan original. Kasi bawal ata yun. Bawal kapag nakatulog. So magdadala ko ng mga documents. So I think bawal yun. So I had to ask my parents and siblings ko na ipadala lahat ng requirements ko through post ng urgent. Kasi kailangan ko ng diploma, ang dami talagang requirements and all, bank statement, wala pa naman akong bank account dito sa New Zealand that time. And then, ang nakakatawa din, Nix, kasi yung enrollment, pagbayad ng enrollment, wala nga akong bank account. So, parang nag-withdraw ata ako dito ng cash kasi pwede ata yun from the Philippines kung yung card mo is pwede naman internationally. Parang ilang beses ata kasi may limit lang din. So, ang gulo-gulo hanggang makompleto ko yung tuition fee. Sabi ko, God, paano to? Parang hanggang kinausap ko na lang yung school na parang I'm still iniipon ko pa yung pera kasi ganito nga yung scenario. So, pumunta ako dun sa school, binigay ko talaga cash.
Diba?
Ito yung bayad. So, it was a roller coaster ride that time na mag-a-apply ako ng student visa kasi yung time pressure, yung class magsa-start na. Good thing kasi yung ibang admin dun sa school is mga Filipinos din. So they're very considerate and yun nga, sobrang helpful naman sila when it comes to the process. So yun yung naging process ko.
Do you still remember how much yung tuition mo at that time?
If you enjoy watching this video, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That will really help with my channel. Salamat po!
At that time, it was around 13,000 New Zealand dollars.
New Zealand dollars. So that's for 1 year, is that correct?
Yeah, for a 1-year course, diploma course na yan.
Okay. Tapos, anong tawag dito? At that time, tama din ba, wala pang English test requirement nun for student visa, right? Kasi parang I've heard, I'm not sure if what I've heard is correct, na parang ngayon, if mag-student visa ka, kailangan may English test chuchu na naman, ganyan.
Yes.
But yung time mo, di ba wala naman? Or tama ba?
Wala. So sobrang maswerte namin that time kasi we were not required to take the English exam. But we were required to submit at least a proof or certificate. So yung medium of instruction ko nung high school and college was English. So nag-asa ko ng certificate from my schools and then pinadala nila dito. So yun yung present ko. So na-approve naman siya. Kasi yun nga, tama ka. Ngayon kasi pag mag-enroll ka, nire-require na nila. I'm not sure if 4.5 IELTS or 6. Not sure ha. Pero yun nga, I mean, nire-require na nila ang English proficiency sa lahat ng student visa. So, maswerte.
What was it like studying healthcare management course in New Zealand?
Yeah, so we were allowed to work 20 hours a week. So, and then full-time sa aming parang sem break or holiday. So, grab ng shift niyan. Yun yung opportunity para makakumita ng pera. So, but yun, we were allowed to work 20 hours a week and full-time on public holidays and sem breaks, ganyan. So yun, life during my student days, it was fun. Sobrang, syempre nung na-enroll na ako and also okay na lahat nung magsa-start na yung class. So I was excited kasi as excited and nervous at the same time kasi after ilang years mag-aaral na naman ako. Talaga yung mangyayari kasi wala akong idea. Though I know by paper yung submission. So may mga research ganyan, Turnitin ganyan. So nakaka-excite. I was expecting na mga classmates ko is international or mga puti, ganyan. Pagdating ko doon, sabi ko, ay, nasa Pilipinas pala ako ulit. Joke. Pero it was masaya kasi nga parang syempre makikita mo yung mga taong nandun na with the same goal, lahat kayo is pumunta para maging successful, and then yun nakakatuwa kasi nga parang syempre mas comfortable ako dahil mga Pilipino yung classmates ko. Though may mga ibang lahi, mga Indians and some other, pero still na Pilipino talaga 70% halos yung So yun masaya kasi nga nakapag-aral kami ulit and new environment, a new experience. So it was tough but fulfilling and masaya. Sobrang happy.
Sa assignment, kung naalala mo pa?
I think 8 or 11 papers or 10.
Talaga?
Something like that. Nag-range ng ganun. So may papers kami, 8 ata yan or 11. And then depende, may topics kasi na we are required to make 2,500 words, 3,000. Nung una, naguguluhan pa talaga ako kasi nga parang ang hirap. Parang gano'n. Kasi kailangan ng reference, tapos may Turnitin pa. So yun yung challenging kasi hindi ka pwedeng mag-copy-paste. Diba? So you have to research and then you have to i-reconstruct mo na lang yung words. And then required talaga ng reference kasi nababasa siya ng Turnitin. So yun yung post-grad. It's more on papers, 2,500 words, 3,000, ganyan. Nung una, medyo pa talaga ako dyan. Medyo competitive ako ang paggawa ng papers ko kasi gusto ko maganda, ganyan. Eventually, nung medyo patapos na, mas priority ko yung trabaho. Sabi ko, tinatapos ko yung deadline a day before lang. Tinatapos ko yung paper ko a day before ng deadline. So, mas gumagana yung neurons ko na natatapos.
May pressure, diba?
Yes.
At tapos nabanggit ni Sean yung Turnitin. So dito, it's like an application. You upload your document and then you turn it in. It will read your document and magbibigay siya ng percentage kung ilang percentage yung plagiarized or copied from that document. So medyo nakakakaba siya sa umpisa. Yeah. Tapos hindi naman siya instant mag-upload, magsabi ka agad ng result. Di ba parang it takes a while bago lumabas kung ilang percentage ba yung yung sa review ng paper mo. So medyo nakakaba ng konti.
Oo.
And then you touched on about working. Yung kinikita, kasi ito tinatanong sa akin ito madalas, yung kinikita mo ba as a student while working, was it enough to support your life here in New Zealand? Or did you have to dip in your savings? Or humihingi ka ba ng support then financially from your family initially?
Well, depende kasi sa kung paano yung living mo that time. Kasi ako, I was getting, nung nag-HCA ako while I'm studying, I was getting like $13 or $14 per hour. 14 point something. Ganun pa kaliit na Nix. Can you imagine?
Diba?
I survive with that pay. Pero yun nga, ganun siya kaliit pa. Pero since kasi, yung school ko is nasa city, yung apartment ko nasa city din, and marami rin akong kasama. So na-balance naman siya. So parang kahit papaano may natitira namang konti. Pero kung tatanungin mo siya in general, hindi talaga sapat kasi nga hindi kami nag-work full time and then yung sweldo namin hindi rin ganun kalaki. Kaya we always take the opportunity pag school holidays or pwedeng mag-work ng full time, so nag-grab kami ng shift. So pero yun nga, kailangan mo lang din i-manage mabuti yung finances mo, especially kung hindi nga full time yung trabaho mo. Pero yun, hindi siya enough. Nanghihingi pa rin ako sa daddy ko nun minsan na parang, yun nga, I need enough fund.
And I think these are very important, lalo na sa mga aspiring applicants. Kasi sometimes they would hear, habang naka-student visa ka, pwede kang magkatrabaho and that would be enough. And I think yun nga, importante na merong version of reality ba, na at least you can prepare, diba? Just in case you can save a little bit. If magsa-student pathway kayo, at least alam nyo na sometimes hindi parang either sakto lang siya or pwedeng maging kulang siya konti. So at least makaipon-ipon ba habang wala pa dito sa New Zealand.
Kasi you can tell din yung mga events na kailangan mo ng pera yung hugutin. Huwag naman sana especially mga hospitalized ka, may insurance ka, pero yun nga, may mga bagay na we really have to get some money from our pocket na in unexpected event.
Are you also thinking of studying in New Zealand? Let me know in the comment section below. What was life like after your graduation?
So after kasi ng graduation, that time, meron kaming 1 year open job search. But we still have to apply it sa immigration. Pero parang it took me 2 days lang na-approve na. So parang siya, after graduation, yun yung parang makukuha mong perk. diba? So you can stay for another year. So job search visa means you have to look for a job na magsusupport sa'yo for another work visa temporarily. So, yun. So, after graduation, lahat kami sabay-sabay kaming nag-launch ng job search. Then, nakuha naman namin agad. So, open yan siya. So, you can work anywhere. So, I stayed a little bit longer dun sa trabaho ko as HCA. So, I think like another 2 months or 3. And then, after nun, sabi ko, yeah, I have to step up. Kailangan ko rin gamitin yung napag-aralan ko. So, ako lang din ulit yun. So, nag-aral lang din ako ano yung naging process sa immigration website, ganyan. So, yun nga. So, once na makahanap ka daw ng trabaho, another 2 years yun, yung postgrad naman. So, ang una kong job after dun sa student was a medical receptionist. Yan. So, admin yan siya. Nakakatuwa kasi parang dito, parang dun sa clinic na yon, ako ang kauna-unahang lalaking male receptionist. Hindi, pero yun nga, parang dito kasi normally ang receptionist ay babae. Nakakatuwa, parang sa akin fulfillment yun na parang, 'di ba? Naitawid ko yung interview na yun at napakita ko naman sa kanila at na-prove ko naman sa kanila na I am worth it. So I stayed for that job for 2.5 years.
Work visa mo. Parang from open job search visa, sila yung naging sponsor mo for work visa.
So I was really honest sa kanila kasi sabi ko, yun nga, ito yung visa ko, and then that time I think 9 months na lang or 10, and I need someone to support my visa for me to stay longer dito sa New Zealand, and yun nga, that's a requirement din. So yun, so yun, kasi naka-open job search pa ako noon. So parang sabi nila, okay, we'll support you, but you have to deliver, you have to prove us that you're worth it. So after 3 months, doon ako nag-lodge ng postgrad. Parang nagkaroon ako ng proby period. So yun, pinagtrabahuhan ko namang maigi. So yun, after ko, nakakuha ko ng 2 years. Ang sarap lang sa feeling kasi nga parang, alam mo yung feeling, Nika, na parang, ay, nakahinga na naman ako ng maluwag. To be honest, para sa mga nanonood, I don't know kung nararamdaman niyo yung same na feelings ko. Pag naka-work visa ka kasi, hindi mo kasi talaga alam kung hanggang kailan ka magsistay, hindi mo alam ano mangyayari sa'yo kinabukasan. So parang yung para sa amin na dumaan sa ganun, sobrang relief sa amin yun. And sobrang blessing. And
How did you become a practice manager?
So ngayon naman, punta tayo sa next part. Ikwento mo naman sa amin yung journey mo from working as a part-time student and then part-time healthcare assistant to ngayon, isa ka ng practice manager. Paano naman yan nangyari? Ano namang ganap dyan?
Well, ako kasi, Nika, parang yun nga, kasi syempre healthcare management yung tinake kong course. So parang from the start nakaplano na yan. So since nag-deliver talaga kasi ako ng immigration process, so parang syempre, kung ano yung pinag-aralan mo, yun dapat yung sundin mo para makuha mo yung residency mo and everything. Kasi by process nga, hindi ka pwedeng mag-U-turn or mag-skip, ganyan-ganyan. Kasi medyo magulo, mahirap yan. So from the start pa lang, alam ko na kasi na hindi ako magiging nurse dito. Medyo malabo yung reality na yun, I'll be honest. Sabi ko, tinanggal ko na yung option na yun. So sabi ko, para maging resident ako, kailangan ko makakuha ng managerial job. And I know it won't be easy. Hindi siya madali na in just a snap, makuha ko agad yung trabaho. So, like what I've said, I've started as a receptionist kasi feeling ko yun yung magiging starting point ko. Kasi nga, pumasok na ako sa healthcare settings, sa practice, GP practice, and yun yung start ng pagiging admin. So, pinagtsagaan ko lang yun, though mahirap talaga maging receptionist kasi syempre yung mga rant ng mga pasyente and everything, ganyan. So, yun, nag-start ako ng ganun. And then after 2 years and a half, sabi ko, I think I had enough experience na. So, parang feeling ko medyo na-trained na ako ng dati kong practice manager, ng mga katrabaho ko. Medyo naalam ko na ang kalakaran sa GP practice. So, try akong mag-apply muna ng practice manager din. Saka frustrate lang kasi hindi ako nakukuha na parang sabi nila they need someone na more experience, ganyan-ganyan. So dumating yung point na parang sabi ko, ay, hindi pa pala enough yung 2.5 years. So sabi ko, paano ako makakahanap ng job na managerial kung inahanap nila is may experience? Eh, yun na nga eh. Paano nga ako magkakaroon ng experience kung hindi niyo ako papayagan? So, get mo yung point, medyo kahit ako naguguluhan ako eh. Sabi ko, bigyan niyo naman ako ng chance. Kaya naman eh. Sabi ko ganyan. So, dumating sa point na wala talaga. So, I've decided to i-set aside muna. Sabi ko, feeling ko hindi pa to yung time. So, sabi ko, hanap muna ako ng iba. Pero this time, level pa rin. So, nakapanganap ako ng trabaho as nursing administrator. So, medyo mas level up siya dun sa trabaho ko as receptionist. Kasi ito, medyo talagang hawak ko is mga nurses. So, ginagawa ko yung roster ng day, yung mga something about the admin side of the nursing department. So, yun. Mas nakakuha ako ng experience pa, 'di ba? So parang nag-gain pa ulit ako ng experience. And then after a year, sabi ko, sige, try ko ulit. Sabi ko, baka pwede na. Baka ang dami ko nang pinagdaanan. Sabi ko, baka pwede na to. Yeah, and luckily, mas dumami yung opportunities kasi nai-invite na ako for interview, na kahit initial lang yun, sabi ko, wow, sabi ko, napansin nila yung CV ko. So sabi ko, kaya hindi ako nawala ng pag-asa, mas na-excite pa ako. Until yun, na nakuha ako as a practice manager dyan sa Auckland noon. So, yun na. Tuloy-tuloy na siya. So, ano talaga siya? Kailangan mo talagang paghirapan. Hindi kasi siya ganun kabilis. Yun
nga. Disclaimer din, kasi hindi naman lahat ng nag-aaral ng postgrad health management is magiging manager in the end, di ba? Pero ikaw, I think you combination ng hard work and just preparing for the right opportunity. And for my reference, and sa viewers na rin, meron ka bang managerial experience sa Philippines before? Kasi diba sabi mo, hindi ka natuloy, kumbaga, sa nursing career talaga. But in the Philippines, did you have a managerial role before? And did you think it had any bearing with your application? Or did it make a difference? Or maybe not so much? What do you think?
Yes, so meron akong managerial experience sa Philippines. Pero telco kasi siya, hindi siya healthcare. So ibang field siya. So I was like nag-manager din ako ng store sa isang telco company sa Philippines. So I think it was an advantage kasi admin-wise or managerial-wise, may experience ako, clinical, nursing, reception. So all combined, nag-swak talaga siya doon sa trabahong hinahanap ko. So,
diba?
Oo, kasi yun nga, sinabi ko rin sa last na ganito natin, na kailangan i-align mo rin lahat ng mga experiences mo, yung mga pinag-aralan mo. Kasi dito sa New Zealand, wala silang pakialam kung ano yung naging ibang experience mo eh. Kung ang hinahanap ko is a nurse or hinahanap ko is a practice manager, I need to see your experience base dun sa job description na hinahanap ko. Yun kasing kailangan namin eh. So, kahit engineer ka, kung kailangan ko naman is ganito, hindi ko naman siya magagamit. Pinag-aralan ko din siyang mabuti, na sabi ko, kailangan i-align ko siya lahat. So, pinasok ko yung managerial experience ko sa Philippines. So, yun, na-credit naman siya. Yun. So, yun. Yung naging advantage. Pero, yun nga, sabi ko nga, kahit siguro wala naman akong managerial experience sa Philippines noon. Kung gusto ko talaga makuha yung posisyon, nilalaban ko talaga yon. So, ipepresent ko naman kung ano yung mga experiences ko. So, yun. So, may chance pa rin naman. Kung may mga friends tayo dyan na nanonood na nag-take din ng healthcare management or nag-take ng healthcare management ngayon, so, may chance talaga. So, kailangan lang talagang pagtrabahuhan.
Okay. Pag-usapan naman natin, pagbalik natin. May commercial! Pagbalik natin, i-compare natin what it's like living in Auckland versus in Hamilton. Saan mas maganda tumira? Saan mas mura? At saan mas madaling makahanap ng love life? Abangan nyo!